Today in Getting Real with the Housewives, Jessal's Hank defends Brynn for flirting with Erin's husband.
I know women that will steal your man, and that was not it.
Like, that's not how they play
it. Was not it at all. She was literally joking.
Plus, Erika Jayne teases marriage drama for Dorit and PK, while Kim Zolciak plans a return to reality TV. And Kyle Richards' daughter sparked split rumors with her fiancé. We've got that plus so much more on today's Getting Real with the Housewives. Hey guys, Christina Arbaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp, and we got some big Housewives news this week, like always.
We do. And I'm interested in Dorit and PK and what we're going to find out on the show, since other things have been revealed since the show has been taping. So very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. Like always, before we get to the news, we want to see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Colleen says Kyle has always craved fame in a crazy way. She's loving this. I don't know.
Don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Dana Jones said, Heather is trying to convince the world she's an actress. Girl, please stop. You're doing too much.
Oh, man. I just love that. IMDb should be thanking Real Housewives of OC this season because it's all they talk about.
It's all they talk about. I was actually thinking about that this episode. I was like, it's too bad Heather's not getting the page views on her IMDb page because I'm sure it's high.
I'm sure it's high. And then Joe McCarthy says, I don't like the new Roni. Sorry, I tried. Maybe I just really miss Luann, Ramona, etc.
It's interesting. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm still liking it, guys. Still liking the new Roni.
I'm still liking it, too. I was talking with my sisters. They both love it, too. But we are from New York.
Yeah.
You know, grew up mostly there. So I feel like I'm interested to hear, if you're not from New York, if you like the new Roni. Because I feel like it's very, like, New York-centric, which I love. But I don't know if everyone would love that.
That's a really good point. So, yeah, definitely let us know in the comments. All right, let's get to the news. According to Erika Jayne, Kyle Richards and Mauricio aren't the only ones facing marital woes in Beverly Hills. So during the August 28th episode of her Two Teas in a Pod podcast, Teddy Mellencamp brought up the remarks that Erika made about Dorit and PK's relationship at BravoCon last year. Erika said, it bothers me very much. You know why? Because I didn't know they were having problems. I was being in the moment, and if you look back, you hear me say, I don't want to answer this question. I knew she took it bad, and I texted her, and there was no response. Erika noted that Dorit texted her immediately and said, I'm so very sorry, but the damage was done. So after Tamara said, if it's not true, laugh it off, and Erika exclaimed, I know, but it was. That was the problem. She added, I didn't know. But then she told me, and Dorit also reveals some other things that happened to her post-home invasion that are pretty heavy, and I understand now. Had I known that, I would have never effing said it. It comes out that Kyle and Mauricio were struggling. Dorit and PK were also struggling in their marriages. They, like we said, they previously slammed Erika's suggestion that their marriage was on the rocks. But, I mean, Tamara kind of made a good point. If it's not true, just laugh it off. And I guess we're going to see that this season as well.
Beverly Hills is falling apart.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. It's going to be, I think, a really good season. It's also interesting that we don't really see Dorit and Kyle posting as much together anymore. I wonder if something happened between them because I feel like they were like really, really good friends at one point. And now I just feel like we're not seeing like those Instagram photos of them all hanging out together. So I wonder if something happened between them this season too.
Maybe. We'll see. I can't wait for the season to start.
I know.
We do have other news about PK this week. He was in the news, not for great reasons. Rachel Uchitel is opening up about her past romance with him and his alleged spending habits. So during an appearance on Behind the Velvet Rope podcast, she said, when I ran nightclubs in Vegas and New York, he started as my bottle service customer and he would come in from London. He lived in London at the time. She explained that she and PK were just friends at first, saying, we developed a friendship over a year, so we really became good friends. I really liked him. He would always kind of try and date me, but I was never into him. She noted that she didn't see the businessman for what he looked like at all, but rather as a person. She said she did just kind of fall in love with him unexpectedly, and they dated long distance. Prior to the romance, PK was her number one bottle service customer. Something to be proud of, I guess. She said he was the first bottle service customer in Vegas, no joke, to spend $250,000 on bottle service in one night. No one at the time had done that. Then we started to learn what it was like to cultivate a client, to spend a year befriending somebody. and then have them trust you enough so that I could kind of control the room. So she also claimed that he spent over $1 million in her presence on alcohol alone, which is so insane. As for the twosomes' romantic relationship, Uchitel said it played out while Kemsley was in the process of finalizing his divorce from his first wife, Loretta Gold. She noted that the divorce was really hard for Kemsley as he really didn't want to leave the 3 children he shares with Gold, daughters Atlanta and Tatum, and son Daniel in London. Wow, a lot to unpack there. I mean, what? I don't know if I was more shocked by his relationship with her or the amount of money he spent on alcohol.
Same. As we know, Rachel is, the mistress that Tiger Woods was sleeping with, or one of the women that he was sleeping with when he was married a while back. But yeah, she really held nothing back about this. I wonder how PK feels about his spending habits and his past relationship being made public. Yeah. Get Andy in the camera with that one.
I guess it was good that it wasn't when he was with Dorit. So that changes things a bit. Because when I was first reading it, I was like, oh my God. But then I realized it was before Dorit's time. So I guess that's good.
I'm shocked that they haven't gone after Rachel to be a housewife, because I feel like she would 100% bring the drama. People know who she is. I think she lives in New York. So I'm wondering if she was ever approached to be on the show.
Don't take this offensively, Christina, but she gives me Jersey vibes.
She does give me Jersey vibes, and then no offense, but I can see that too. I can see her fitting in with those ladies as well.
I feel like she would be a fish out of water with the new New York housewives. Like she would just. Well,
I feel like she would fit in better with the previous cast.
Yes,
like
totally.
I could see that, but I agree with you. Not with the new cast at all. No. Definitely not. All right, well, let's talk
in any city.
No, totally. All right, let's talk about Kim Zolciak, because things just keep getting messier and messier, but it seems like she has some big plans for her future without Croy, including a possible return to reality TV. She fielded some questions from her followers during an Instagram Q&A, and to keep herself entertained while she was traveling, first class, may I add. She thanks fans for their concerns amid her marital woes before diving into some juicy topics. As one social media user wondered whether she would return to the Housewives, or planning on staying in Georgia, she said yes for now. So when asked if she would consider bringing back her show Don't Be Tardy, she said that she's hinted at something bigger and better, writing maybe not a new season, but maybe a new show. So she has, as we know, this past season of Atlanta, she made a cameo. I feel like she'll probably do anything at this point to get some money, but a source did exclusively tell Us Weekly that she has no plans to return full-time to Real Housewives of Atlanta specifically. So we'll have to wait and see. As we know, Kim and Croy have, decided to part ways yet again amid all of this financial drama. She's being sued by a credit card. So is her daughter.
Yeah.
It's a really big mess for them.
Huge mess. I hope Andy Cohen invites her back in some capacity. I don't know if I need a whole Kim Zolciak Bierman spinoff, but I would love to see her back in Atlanta.
I would like to see her back in Atlanta too. And, there's been some rumors going around this week too that they are going to completely revamp the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think Bravo said that maybe that wasn't true, but I do feel like there's going to be some huge cast changes after this season, because a lot of people were just not happy with it.
Yeah, it's needed. Like we said, in my opinion, it was good for New York. I think it'll be good for some other cities to do the same. All right, well, moving on to some Jeff Lewis in the news, because I absolutely love him, as you know. He was not happy with Sutton's track after she went on his Sirius XM radio show with an apparent eye infection.
This is my favorite story.
The Jeff Lewis stories are always the best.
Yes.
They're not that serious, but they really make me laugh. So totally. Jeff and his co-host Doug questioned the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star about her health, noting that she looked sick as a dog when appearing in studio to record his show. She said, "Well, I feel better. It's just like coming out of my eyeball. It felt like something flew into my eye." In the footage, Sutton could be seen wearing a pair of oversized sunglasses to mask her puffy left eye. At one point, she took off the glasses and showed that her face was visibly swollen around her eye. Sutton said she would not be going to urgent care, despite Jeff saying she needs to go on antibiotics. So, yeah, just so funny. I mean,
so funny. And Mandy, I have to tell you, when I was on vacation, I also got an eye infection. So thank God I wasn't here, because it was like in both of my eyes. I couldn't even see. I'm like, thank God I wasn't on camera doing anything, because it was gross. But the fact that she went in to do an interview, eye infections are contagious.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Yeah. Stay home, Sutton. We had her in studio about what was it, 2 weeks ago, and she looked fantastic. So this must have been well after that.
Definitely. All right, moving on to Kyle Richards' daughter, Farah. Now, she has sparked some speculation that she and Alex Manos are over after the Buying Beverly Hills star was spotted without her engagement ring. So she shared photos from her family trip to Italy. And in one picture, she could be seen holding up a drink, while it appeared that she was holding the beverage in her right hand. Farah's left hand was strategically hidden from the frame. One fan commented, said no engagement ring. Another added, not engaged anymore, best wishes. So they announced their engagement back in November of 2021, and the proposal played out on the Netflix show. He's often photographed on trips with Farah and her family, but appeared to be absent from this Italian vacation. And it also seemed as if Farah had her left hand hidden in most of the photos from her trip. She hasn't responded. We spoke to her not too long ago. She said that they weren't really doing too much in their wedding planning. But I don't know, if he's not making this big family trip, maybe something's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, with stories like this, I always think it's kind of ridiculous because, like, I'm not wearing my wedding ring right now, still happily married. But, you know, it was just too tight. Sorry. But anyway, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a reality star. So who cares? But I always feel like when fans start noticing these things, there's usually some truth behind them.
That is very true. Yeah. And especially on such a big trip like this, he would think that he would be involved. My guess is that they're saving this for Buying Beverly Hills season 2. So we'll have to wait and see.
I hope they are, because that show needed some spicing up.
It did need some spiciness. All right. Well, let's get into our Housewives interview of the week. Speaking of spicy, and we recently caught up with Jessal, who defended Brynn's flirty behavior with Erin's husband. Take a look.
The Brynn of it all. First of all, Brynn hitting on everyone's husband and dad last night was just wild. I love her energy, but she's doing that. You know, Shep from Southern Charm, she's DMing. What do you think about Brynn and her cavalcade of men who love her because she's so beautiful and flirty?
I mean, Brynn she has more sex appeal in her like pinky nail than I think. Yeah, I think that Brynn is she just exudes this like, you know, flirtatious fun, and she's having fun with it. Like nothing Brynn does or says is ever serious. Like, you know what I mean? It's always done in jest, and that's her person. Yeah, she's very cheeky, tongue in cheek, and that's why I get along so well with her, because we have such a laugh together. Like, she gets it, and nothing's ever taken like for you know.
Just a little bant.
Yeah, it's banter is exactly what it is.
But I don't think Erin will agree with what she hears about what, you know, Brynn was talking about. You know, 20 years, share your husband with me. Is he divorced? She sort of said it a bunch of times, and comedy's sort of funny because it's rooted in truth sometimes. I don't know. She just said it a lot of times for me.
I think I was standing right next to her in that moment, and Abe was laughing. If Abe was uncomfortable, I think I would have like maybe stepped in. But knowing Brynn, I mean, I know 100% that she was not serious.
Right.
I know women that will steal your man, and that was not it.
Like, that's not how they play
it. Was not it at all. She was literally joking, and I know that she feels awful for what happened, and it definitely wasn't serious in that moment.
The speeches at that party, girl, you
on
were
and
very
on
strong.
and on.
You were sitting through all of those speeches.
I think the bar was closed too.
Well, everyone was like, we can't get drinks. They clearly shut down the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the real thing, that they should have had people passing out champagne. If you're going to trap people for, how long was that? Like 25 full minutes?
No, I felt like way longer than that.
Really? For speech?
He had 4 pages in his hand.
You're right. He did have 4 pages in his hand. I hope he had everyone's speeches there, but I guess
No, I think that was just his.
Yes. All right. Let's get right into Roni. What did you think about? We'll kind of go off of what Jessal was talking about. Erin getting so mad that Brynn flirted with Abe. I mean, she definitely was doing it jokingly.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to sound weird. I'm totally going to sound weird saying this, but I almost felt like it was a flattering, like, you know, like welcoming him into the group. You're all new, kind of in this new friend group. Like, it's nice to flirt with other people's husbands. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I felt like it was just like friendly banter, and it's Brynn's personality and her sense of humor.
I totally agree with you. And Abe was joking along, but then I also felt like he kind of fueled the fire when it came to Erin and was like, oh, she was rude. You know, she had her sunglasses on the whole time. And, you know, like, and she shouldn't be saying things, talking about divorce at my anniversary party. I think like I'm sure if Erin watches back the footage now, I'm sure she's probably like, oh, okay, I totally get it. She was making a joke.
I think at this point, Abe and Erin probably heard rumblings that people were pissed off there was no food at their party, pissed off that the speeches went on for like hours with no alcohol. The bar was closed during the speeches. So I feel like maybe they were getting rumblings that people didn't like their party and were kind of taking it out on Brynn and her fake flirting with her husband.
Yeah. I mean, if your entire party is sponsored, you have no drinks, you have no food, people are going to get agitated and want to talk. And nobody wants to listen to hours of speeches.
No,
nobody.
Not even at a wedding, let alone a hour.
No, just get me the cocktail hour and get me the open bar. That's what people want.
Absolutely.
I feel like,
go ahead.
No, I feel like her storming out of the wreath making was a bit dramatic.
Yeah, no, totally, 100%. It just brought me back to my sister's wedding where I was a little tipsy and I was like, so me and my sister were both the maid of honors at my other sister's wedding, and my sister gave a nice speech and I just said what Sarah said. And you know what? That's all people want, okay? People didn't want a speech. No regret.
So much. That's amazing. That's my favorite thing ever. What she said. Everybody drink. I love it. I love that we got a little bit more of Jenna Lyons this week. We found out that her name is actually Judith and how she got her name from her brother. It's interesting that we're getting like these little tidbits of her here and there, but I do agree with Sai saying like, why is Jenna saying this to strangers and she can't really open up to us about anything?
No, it's a little strange. I go back and forth with Jenna. I find her very like fascinating and intriguing to watch, and I'm excited that she's on this show. But it is strange that like every week we find out something a little bit different or new about her, and you know, I guess we're finding it out as viewers. I mean, she knew that was going to be in the show. She knew that Sai was sitting there, so I guess she's kind of telling the story to everyone in a way. But yeah, she's intriguing to me.
She really is. She's a A+ housewife. I really enjoy Jenna Lyons. Give us more. And then it was really hard to watch Jessal have that conversation with her mom about IVF and that she went through all this entire IVF process. Her kids are what I think at that point 1, almost 2, and her mom never knew that she went through that. I found that really hard. It must have been a really difficult secret to keep, and it must have been really something difficult for her mom to actually hear that that her daughter didn't feel comfortable enough going to her with it.
I know. It's sad because you hear her mom say, like, I would have flown here on the next flight if I had known, you know, so I went through IVF and I totally understand wanting to keep it from people when you're going through it. So I feel for Jessal, and I wish she had told her mom because she would have been there for her every step of the way, it seems.
Totally. All right, let's move on over to OC. We see first that Heather sold her house for $55 million. That is a nice payday. Oh my God.
And it with Josh Altman from $1 Million Listing. Yeah. Which is just so funny. So ridiculous how they kept it all in the Bravo family there. I mean, good for them, I guess. I don't know. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. She had her Dom Perignon just chilling, her 10-year-old bottle of Dom just in case. Yeah. But they weren't planning on selling this house. They had a buyer come in and it was an offer that they really couldn't refuse. And now they have this penthouse in Los Angeles. They have another home that they're renovating in Beverly Hills. I've said it before. We asked Heather about it, but I do feel like she's probably not going to be back on OC next season. I think that she's done.
I agree. And if you see the preview for next week's episode, they're talking about the Heather Dubrow Network. So clearly she is setting this up for her next move, I think.
I totally agree with you.
Heather's like, she's a mover and a shaker. And I feel like everything she does is kind of calculated. And how can this benefit me in my future? Doesn't mean she's a bad housewife or a bad person. I just feel like she's very calculated in that way that, like, you know, how can this season benefit me in my next career move?
I totally agree with you. And I love Heather. I love talking. We have her on here all the time, and I love talking with her. But I feel like the show won't suffer without Heather not being there next season.
I agree. I mean, we got to get into all the Shannon Bedore drama this week because she is the common denominator for basically all the drama. And like you said, if Heather's not here next season, that's fine. But would you want to see Shannon back after everything? And would this show survive without Shannon?
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like she's becoming, I said it to you before, that she's becoming very unhinged this season.
Yeah.
Like, she's, taking off her microphone. I'm not talking about this. But who knows? Maybe next season, because she's not with John anymore, maybe she'd be a completely different person.
Yeah.
She's not having that relationship drama. But it feels like she's, like, holding on to this secret and about her relationship. But she's telling everybody, but doesn't want it on camera. I feel like she's, like, all over the place.
I agree with you. I can't believe she said that about Gina's kids or
Yes.
about CPS and then completely denied it. I mean, it's two questions are, was she drinking that much that she didn't remember that? Because she didn't sound that drunk in that moment.
No.
Or is she just completely lying that she doesn't remember it?
A lot of the girls say that, like, when she drinks, she has, like, word vomit. She calls everybody up, complains about her relationship, and then the next day, I didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
So maybe she just didn't remember, but that's a pretty severe thing to say. And I agree with Gina being like, I had my DUI 4 years ago. I have moved on from this. We have to stop talking about it. She's made changes in her life. She's co-parenting really well with her ex-husband, and she's moved on. And I feel like Shannon should as well. It's like, why are you still hanging this over her head? And she made a good point. Nobody that had got a DUI is getting their kids taken away from them.
It's ridiculous. It's an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. I was thinking, like, I wonder if they'd ever do an episode or a season of The Housewives where they let the replay happen live. Like,
Yes.
a producer shows Gina off camera, this is what she said last week or the dinner. Like, and then Gina can kind of react live because, like, now we have to wait for the reunion for Gina to see that Shannon was lying or forgot.
Right.
I'm just interested to see if, like, maybe an episode or a season of a Housewives just spice it up a little bit,
I totally agree with you. I think that it would bring the level of drama to a whole different level.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into our social spotlight of the week. Mine went to Heather Dubrow because she was having a casual lunch with Terry. Because her caption was basically like, I can't post pictures of my kids on their first day of school anymore, so I'm having this lunch with Terry. Yeah. And he is trying to avoid the TMZ bus. Take a look.
Are you videoing me in case I wave at the TMZ bus?
Yes.
I'm not going to wave at the TMZ bus.
Well, I just want proof.
In case I do?
Yeah. Because they're about to go by. Oh, you may have just been cock-blocked by this bus. Oh, honey, it's a bad day. Cock-blocked from the TMZ bus by Metro. Oh. You missed it.
Oh, my God.
Goodbye.
Cock-blocked from the TMZ bus.
Oh, that's so sad.
Metro, I hate you.
Screw those stage paparazzi photos. It still seems like these two are going strong.
So what do you think? Do you think there are paparazzi at Disneyland? Because I think I'm on Team Tamara here.
Absolutely not. There are not paparazzi in Disneyland. Also, you're like, 30 plus years into your marriage? You're not having a PDA filled day like that anymore. I don't know.
I'm certainly not. I'm like a few years in. Yeah.
Seriously, I do not believe that one for a second.
No. My social spotlight goes to Andy Cohen. He's Watch What Happens Live has been on hiatus, and it's on hiatus, I think, until September 5th when Salt Lake City returns. So he's been posting a lot of pictures at his Hamptons house with his kids, living his best life. I love his Hamptons wardrobe. He's like really casual out there, and just, I'm envious of it.
He's living his best life. I saw that he tweeted, I think the other day, saying that his son walked into his bedroom at 6 o'clock in the morning with a pint of ice cream. And instead of yelling at him, he's like, get into bed and we'll share it. I absolutely love that because, like, your first instinct is to be like, I can't believe you did that. But you're like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to go with it.
100%. I love that.
I love it. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Getting Real with the Housewives. Let us know in the comments if you think Heather staged the photos, if you think that she should be back in OC next season, and if you are on Team Shannon or not. But that is it for this week's episode. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.